Glancing towards the hallway leading to the bedroom, I wearily made my way towards the front door, not anticipating anything positive, nor did I anticipate anything negative. Nothing of significance had occurred recently. I approached the door and opened it. I was taken aback. There she stood, well, vaguely resembling the one I had known so well. My mouth hung open as she hurried past me and into my apartment, the same apartment she had left 3 months ago, leaving me behind. Simultaneously, I remained stunned as I observed her examining the slightly altered interior of my home. With a critical and slightly irritated expression on her face, I shifted my gaze from her to the plates on the table, then back to the hallway and back to her. Well, that needs to change. Clearly, it is time for me to regain control and handle matters myself. By the way, please close the door. What? That was the only thing that came to mind. Actually, closing the door did seem like a sensible idea now that I thought about it. With the nosy neighbors in mind and my mind devoid of thoughts, I watched as she looked around, meticulously studying her former domain. Oh my God! Did you choose these pillows? What? All right. My responses were not particularly impressive, but what did she expect? This entire situation was not only surprising, but also peculiar. Did you do any cleaning while I was away? I glanced around. The apartment was not dirty. It simply had been lived in. The obsessive cleaner no longer resided here. Therefore, I no longer had to endure living in a cold, sterile house. My luggage is in the car. We can retrieve it later. My brain was barely functioning, but it was evident that she was behaving in her usual confident manner, which was inappropriate given the circumstances. Your hair, I began. Well, I finally managed to say something. Yes, I know. It will grow back in no time. Her hair had always captivated me endlessly. I was slightly taken aback to see her with a stylish yet very short haircut. Clearly, she was no longer mine, but it still pained me to see her without one of her most alluring features. It simply wasn't right. A tragic loss. That's how it was. This will take a minimum of 5 years. I still find myself returning to complete sentences. We have ample time, my dear. What did she just call me? Expensive. Yes, I am aware. No need to mention it. I was behaving strangely for a while, but now I am back. Everything will be all right. She offered me a sweet smile, as if trying to soothe the child. Seriously? And that was her way of apologizing. Yes, baby. To my horror, she approached me, appearing as though she wanted to kiss me. Who was this woman, and was she completely out of her mind? She must have correctly interpreted my expression, because she stopped and looked at me, slightly surprised. I know you always admired my hair, but I felt the need to change something in my life. Yes, I noticed. What? Oh no! I was just referring to my hair. Besides that, I want my life to return to how it was. This obviously includes you as well. In case you didn't notice, she had the audacity to wink at me. So Tom had no influence on your new hairstyle. She winced slightly. Tom is a thing of the past. The new love in her life didn't last long. So what? What? So Tom had no influence on your new hairstyle. Why do you always bring him up? He was fired and blacklisted when Parker's contract went missing. He is ruined. He is in the past. He was a mistake, and I left him. I nodded. I heard about some of his professional failures. Yes, just like you left me, I know. But now I am back for good. It's going to be wonderful. I just know it, baby. My gaze returned to her. So Tom had no influence on your new hairstyle? She seemed slightly offended by my persistence, but probably realized that she couldn't avoid answering. Cruel or not, she wasn't one to lie. Perhaps he was in favor of it, so it was his idea. Maybe. I don't remember. What does it matter now? He left his mark on you. Maybe for me, maybe not. But he definitely left his mark on you, darling. It doesn't matter at all. Her voice was unusually soft. Her short hair, friendly tone, almost apologetic, maybe even a little uncertain. In front of me stood a new version of my ex, exhibiting a newfound courage as she toyed with the strap of her dress. I observed her actions without uttering a word as she paused her wardrobe adjustment and retrieved her phone from her purse. Engrossed in her device for a moment, she then commanded my speakers to play one of her playlists. It was evident that she still had unrestricted access to everything, having lived here for years, while I foolishly neglected to change any passwords. I found myself in a state of bewilderment, perhaps lost in a daze. With the music serving as a backdrop, she began to dance, or at least what could be loosely defined as dancing. She had never been particularly fond of dancing, and actively avoided it whenever possible. Her determination to attempt it now spoke volumes about her current mindset. To my astonishment, her peculiar movements seemed to suggest an endeavor to perform a striptease. I couldn't help but question this unexpected behavior. This woman had always been reserved, shying away from openly expressing her sexuality. She detested any form of sexual display, which she deemed as sexist. Furthermore, she had always struggled to move in sync with any music. The fact that she was now on the verge of undressing for me conveyed a sense of desperation that she evidently felt but chose not to discuss, without offering any form of apology. The striptease itself held a mild amusement for me. I had always admired her sharp wit, humor, and unique personality. Her body was never meant to be the focal point of attention, and I had never required it to be. However, the issue at hand was that her physique was ill-suited for a striptease. She possessed a slightly broad and muscular build, lacking the grace and elegance typically associated with such performances. Her movements appeared awkward and clumsy. I had to exercise restraint to avoid offending her with laughter. Although I had every right to feel hurt by her actions, I chose not to retaliate. It was a challenging situation for both of us, and I attempted to alleviate it by showing some interest in her activities. However, her actions had no impact on my physical arousal. My curiosity was piqued when she revealed one of her small breasts, accompanied by a mischievous smile. As I approached her to get a closer look, I noticed something shiny. To my surprise, her nipple was pierced. How did this person manage to convince her to do such a thing? She always prided herself on being an independent and liberated woman with no tolerance for nonsense. She would have castrated me for even suggesting something as sexist as this. Fortunately, my reproductive organ was never in any real danger, since I never had a fondness for piercings. They often appear cheap and somehow tarnish a woman's breasts, as was the case here. "Do you like it?" she asked with a shy smile. "Let me guess. His idea again? Come on. Why is this so important?" She attempted to pout, but her lack of practice made it a complete failure. Her evasive response confirmed that I had hit the nail on the head. I simply wanted to know. She unsuccessfully tried to seductively smile and continued her oddly unnatural and somewhat pitiful way of undressing. As her unusually alluring panties came into view, something peculiar caught my attention. There seemed to be a stain on her skin. I moved closer, examining the area with a strange and detached interest. It appeared to be a letter peeking out from her underwear. Yes, it was indeed peculiar. And then it struck me. It was the end of a tattoo spelling out Tom. He had convinced her to tattoo his name on her pubic area. Unbelievable. This guy was on a whole different level when it came to getting what he wanted from her. "Let me guess. He's the one who dumped you, right?" I said, Okay, I understand. I've completely ruined any remnants of an erotic atmosphere that may have been present. Not that I was in the mood for it anyway, and I highly doubted she was either. Her reaction caught me completely off guard. "What?" she exclaimed. It was refreshing not to be the only one feeling bewildered. Think about it. He lured you and took you away from me. He persuaded you to heartlessly abandon me and insult me in his presence. He made you cut your hair because he knew I preferred long hair. Did he mark you with a piercing? Did he mark you with a tattoo of his name on your intimate area? Then he dumps you and sends you back to me. Maybe it was never about you. I believe he just wanted to defeat me. If I take you back, everything will constantly remind me of what he did for a very long time, maybe forever. Tom and I have despised each other since elementary school. The best outcome for him would be if I took you back, and was always aware that he was able to possess and brand my woman forever. Adorable. To my astonishment, she was on the verge of tears. Surprisingly, I have seldom seen her so emotional. I don't think I've ever witnessed her cry. Terms of endearment, like darling, were also unheard of until today. Why didn't you even make an effort to remove that tattoo before you returned? Now, she actually appeared a little remorseful, which was also quite unusual. I pondered on that. The issue is the color. He chose it, and it's quite challenging to remove. And I'm afraid there will be scars. This is a highly sensitive area. It would seriously hinder any sexual pleasure if there were scars there. Was she concerned about her own sexual experience? Contemplating how the sight of this tattoo would impact my sexuality. You are pregnant. Astonished, she was completely taken aback. Then the tears started flowing. How do you know? I didn't know that. I was just contemplating what else he could do to us. The ultimate defeat would be to force me to raise his child. So let me guess. After you confirmed that he impregnated you, he immediately left you. She simply nodded, continuing to sob. God, I wish I had declined that damn promotion and let him have it. He wouldn't have to use you for revenge. You might not have cheated on me. Perhaps you wouldn't have left me for him. On the contrary, if he was able to easily take you away from me, it implies that our love wasn't as strong as we thought. It's a harsh reality. We never experienced the intense, passionate love that is often romanticized. But we did love each other deeply and enjoyed being together. We were like best friends with added benefits. Tom was undeniably attractive, but I believe that if our love was genuine, he wouldn't have been able to seduce you. I'm not sure, she managed to say amidst her sobs. But I truly wish we could go back to where we were. Really? Please. Well, I think you can remove that piercing quite easily. She nodded vigorously. And I believe your hair will eventually grow back. She nodded again. The tattoo can probably be eliminated with laser treatment. She even started to smile, continuing to nod. The child is a complication. It should be your decision. I will handle this matter. Her mood completely shifted. Now she was almost euphoric. I won't interfere in this, so I believe all traces of it on your body can be erased. Yes, they will be erased. The issue lies in the memories in my mind, don't you think? You left me for him without any remorse. You allowed him to do things to you that you always denied me. I always wanted to have children, but you claimed you weren't ready. Yet, you didn't hesitate when I suggested you change your appearance like a porn star. I would have endured pain and instantly transformed for him. You didn't hesitate, and I didn't even inquire about what you did for him in the bedroom. Oh, right. Oh. I believe he did us a favor. He cruelly exposed how weak our relationship was. He revealed that your feelings for him are much stronger than your feelings for me. He demonstrated that we were simply going through the motions because we were accustomed to it, too afraid or comfortable to make any changes. And let's be honest, if our previous relationship was so feeble, what chance does the new one have? Well, perhaps. She appeared sad, yet composed and resigned to her fate. Meanwhile, she began to dress again, and I was relieved to see it. It alleviated the awkwardness of the situation. Discussing something serious with someone who was nearly naked just felt inappropriate. I couldn't help but feel sorry. That was the one word I uttered. The magical word that had never escaped her lips since she walked away from me. It was peculiar in revealing that I, the one who had been wronged, was the one to apologize. It suddenly dawned on me that she was simply too feeble to say sorry, just as she was too feeble to resist him and too feeble to save our relationship. But it didn't matter. We were better off without each other. Thank you. Once again, I said what she needed to say, and I truly meant it. With her visit today, she finally released all the baggage from our past relationship that I had been carrying. No, my dear, I should be thanking you for listening to me, for giving me those wonderful years we had together. I am truly sorry. Ironically, the very last word she uttered to me was the one I had longed to hear. With those words, she lightly kissed my cheek, which surprisingly left me unaffected, and made her way towards the door, leaving my apartment and my life. It was a relief. "Honey, what's that noise?" asked the groggy, tousled-haired beauty emerging from the bedroom. "Nothing. Just someone I used to know, my love," I replied, just as the door closed. I didn't want my ex to witness this before she vanished from my life forever. My principle has always been not to kick someone when they're down. Do you think we could visit my parents this weekend? I really want you to meet them. Your parents? Yes, of course. I'd be delighted to meet them. This thought genuinely brought me joy. I placed my coffee cup on top of Parker's crumpled and heavily stained contract and followed the alluring rustle of that long mane into the bedroom to start the morning off right. Make sure to subscribe to our channel so that your sous chef doesn't betray you, and go ahead and listen to the next story because it's nothing compared to what's coming next. If you're under 18, don't even think about listening to the next one.